All right, Nick, let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Big overtime win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, divisional win. Two tough teams, I think probably the favorites to win that division over this point. And the Falcons, they pull it off. And I think it's due to a big addition they made this offseason. And no, we're not talking about Kirk Cousins. We're talking about somebody else. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I was alluding to, a big offseason addition really has started to shine for this Atlanta Falcons team, and I think he's going to be someone special. Let's get into the article, and we can talk more about it on the other side. This is from over on SI.com. It says, like quarterback Kirk Cousins, wide receiver Darnell Mooney is also a newcomer to the Atlanta Falcons organization in 2024. Both had wildly productive evenings in Thursday's night win against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it raised some eyebrows when the Falcons signed a 400-yard receiver to a $13 million per year deal. Mooney has proven to be a bargain thus far. After 5 games, he's on pace for 1,122 yards and 10 touchdowns. The Falcons haven't had a player with 10 or more touchdowns since Calvin Ridley in 2018 with 10. They haven't had someone with more than 5 touchdown receptions from a player since Ridley in 2009 with 9. And Bijan Robinson led the team last year with 4 touchdowns. Drake London had 4 as a rookie, and Cordero Patterson's 5 paced the Falcons in 2021. So without a shadow of a doubt, Mooney has been a considerable factor into the team's success thus far this season, and there will be plenty more opportunities to come. I think the long and short of this is Mooney is one of the better playmakers the Falcons have had basically since 2018 with Calvin Ridley, and we all know how special that team looked. That was a great offense. Nick, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one, but before we get to you, Falcons fans, in the comment section below. Thursday game, a little bit early, so you get to take a break this weekend, and we're talking about great players, talking about this team and how strong it is. Let us know, who is your MVP of the season so far? What's your favorite addition? Who's a player that maybe stands out the most already? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, but nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about the addition of Darnell Mooney?
Yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself because when this edition was made in the offseason, I kind of glossed over it personally because I fell into the same dumb trap that the media does all the time with moves like this. You look at a guy like Mooney who had some flashes of success with Chicago, but his stats, his production, and obviously the Bears themselves were not very good. It was not very impressive in terms of the yards he was outputting. The Bears offense was very inconsistent at best. They were downright terrible at worst. So you just kind of getting this feeling, Mooney, maybe he's a good number 3 guy, maybe number 4 guy. How good is he really? And the reality is he was clearly hampered by the issues the Bears had offensively, both at the quarterback position, offensive play calling, talent around him, you name it. He goes to the Atlanta Falcons. We see it already with Kirk Cousins, that connection. We see the deeper talent, the better offensive coordinator. And Mooney looks like a legitimate Pro Bowl kind of player, and he seems to be unlocking this Falcons offense. Look, that drop was devastating in the game, but obviously they overcame it great. Obviously, I feel good for that because Mooney's had such a good season. I think being defined through the first 5 games by that bad drop would just really be unfortunate. But he's been a star player, undeniably so. And you look at the fact that with the deal the Falcons signed into this offseason, if you look at overthecap.com, it looks like they got a steal. So according to 2024 over the cap's valuation, basically what they do is they take a player, his age, his position, his production, and they say, okay, how much should he cost against your cap? Overthecap.com has his valuation at $16.6 million. In 2024, his cap number against the Falcons, 7.5. That's a $9 million discount. That's huge. Even in 2025, his cap number is still just 14.5, and you better believe his valuation is only going to go up. So this was a massive steal the Falcons pulled off this offseason. I missed it. I think a lot of other people did too. But Mooney, I think so far through the season, through 5 games, he looks to me like the surprise MVP of this team. He's been an incredible weapon on this Falcons offense.
Yeah, Nate, and I think this just goes to show, like, sometimes it's more than what is on paper. I think that the article talks about, how do you pay a 400-yard receiver this much? Well, it's because at the time when he was on the Bears, they sucked. And, this is just, quite frankly, a much better team. And I think this was, I love the article he brings it up. It brings up Kirk Cousins. We all know Kirk Cousins was good. We all know that, he has the capability to go off for 1,000,000 yards and a bunch of touchdowns. But he needed someone to help him as well. He had his Justin Jefferson when he was in Minnesota. now it seems like Darnell Mooney is becoming that guy here for the Falcons. And we see them come out on Thursday night. Everyone talks about, Kirk Cousins, bright lights, when the game's only on him, that's kind of a game where he traditionally doesn't do quite as well. Came out, they absolutely dominated. He had a heck of a performance throwing for over 500 yards. Mooney had a heck of a performance as well, making some really crucial catches. That, fourth down conversion for the touchdown rather than going for three. I think that was a great one as well. So I think this Falcons team is starting to feel different. With Raheem Morris on the defensive side of the ball, we've seen the defense get a little better and better each week. But on this offensive side of the ball, they're starting to see more clutch. It's starting to see when it comes down to those crunch time decisions, you finally have some playmakers, especially a guy like Mooney, who can really go out and make those big time catches, go up for, jump balls in triple coverage in the end zone and come down with the touchdown. I think this team is finally getting somewhere, and I'm really excited to see how it all finishes out down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. Watching the Falcons through 5 games, especially the way they've responded over their last two, right? This is a team going into the season. They were kind of the favorite to win the NFC South. I think now it's pretty clear they are the best team in the NFC South. They beat the Saints and they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, albeit close games, but twice in about a 4-day span. So this is a team that's taken a chokehold of the NFC South. I get it. It's still early, but when you look at the entire NFC, who's better than the Atlanta Falcons? The 49ers, when healthy, they're not right now. I'm assuming the 49ers will eventually be healthy. The Detroit Lions, I feel like they're good, but, they've been kind of underwhelming a little bit this year. So I would put maybe healthy San Francisco, Detroit ahead of Atlanta. Who else? Philadelphia. The Falcons beat the Eagles, right? They're obviously the best team in the NFC South. I think the Packers have a lot of issues. The Vikings, I got to see more from them. I think they're just on a crazy hot streak. I think they'll fall off a little bit. Bears are still wildly inconsistent. You look at the Washington Commanders, rookie quarterback, how much do you trust them to be a great football team? There's not a lot of really great teams right now in the NFC, and I would not be surprised at all come January if this Falcons team is not only just in the playoffs, but they're the number 3 seed hosting at least one playoff game. It looks like all the moves Terry Fontenot made this offseason are pushing this team in the right direction, and I'm really excited to see how they finish this thing out.